This is Hot Springs, a place where the ground itself seems alive, bubbling with warm waters that have drawn humans for millennia. Welcome to our journey through time and stone, where geology and folklore intertwine in the heart of the Black Hills. In this video, we'll delve into the fiery origins of these thermal wonders and the sacred stories of the Lakota people who have revered them since time immemorial. Picture this. You're standing at the edge of Fall River, the waterway that winds through the town of Hot Springs. The water here isn't just any river. It's fed by natural springs that maintain a balmy 87 degrees Fahrenheit year-round. Evans Plunge, the world's largest natural warm water indoor swimming pool, invites visitors to immerse themselves in these mineral-rich waters. But beneath the surface lies a story billions of years in the making. To understand Hot Springs, we must travel back to the very formation of the continent. The Black Hills, or Pahasepa in Lakota, meaning hills that are black, rise like an island from the surrounding Great Plains. This geological anomaly is a dome-shaped uplift, exposing rocks that span nearly 2 billion years of Earth's history. At the core are ancient Precambrian metamorphic rocks, schists and granites formed under immense heat and pressure during early mountain building events. These rocks, dating back to about 2.5 billion years ago, tell of a time when the Earth's crust was still young and volatile. As we zoom out in our mind's eye, imagine the Black Hills as a bullseye pattern. The oldest rocks form the bullseye in the central hills, while younger sedimentary layers ring around them like concentric circles. Wind Cave National Park, just north of Hot Springs, straddles this transition. Here, schists, banded metamorphic rocks, and pegmatites, coarse-grained igneous intrusions rich in quartz, feldspar, and mica, dominate the northwest. Pegmatites, formed about 1.7 billion years ago, intruded into the schists, creating veins that miners later exploited for minerals like tourmaline. Moving southeast, the rocks grow younger. Sedimentary layers from 600 million to 60 million years ago blanket the area. These include limestones, shales, and sandstones deposited during repeated advances and retreats of ancient seas. The Madison limestone, a key player in our story, formed around 350 million years ago in a shallow sea teeming with life. This porous rock, riddled with joints and cavities, is the backbone of the region's karst topography. Think sinkholes, caves, and underground rivers. The Black Hills uplift began about 65 million years ago during the Laramide orogeny, the same event that birthed the Rocky Mountains. Tectonic forces squeezed the crust, pushing the Black Hills upward like a blister on the skin of the Earth. Erosion since then has stripped away softer layers, exposing the hard core and creating the dramatic landscape we see today. Resistant rocks like limestone and sandstone form ridges and plateaus, while weaker shales carve out valleys. Now, let's focus on the star of our show, the hot springs themselves. How do these warm waters emerge in a land far from volcanoes? The answer lies in a delicate dance of hydrology and geology. Rain and snow from the higher Black Hills percolate down through cracks in the rock, infiltrating deep into the earth, sometimes thousands of feet. Here, the geothermal gradient takes over. Earth's internal heat, a remnant of its formation and radioactive decay, warms the water by about 1 degree Fahrenheit for every 70 feet of depth. In Hot Springs, the water descends into the Madison limestone aquifer, a vast underground reservoir. Impermeable layers above, like shales, trap the water under pressure, creating an artesian system. Faults and fractures from the uplift provide pathways for the heated water to rise. As it ascends, it mixes with cooler, shallow groundwater, tempering the heat to a soothing 87 degrees. Emerging at the surface, these springs carry dissolved minerals, calcium, magnesium, sulfate, from the rocks they've traversed. Geochemical studies reveal the spring's signature. Waters from the 8 main springs in Hot Springs show higher concentrations of calcium, nickel, manganese, gallium, molybdenum, and selenium compared to the Fall River. pH levels differ too, with springs slightly more alkaline. Principal component analysis confirms mixing. As spring water feeds into the river, it dilutes but leaves a traceable imprint. Temperatures average 28.8 degrees Celsius in springs versus 25.5 degrees Celsius in the river, though outliers exist. But these springs aren't just geological curiosities, they're tied to dramatic structures. The Hot Springs Quadrangle, mapped by the USGS, reveals anticlines like Dudley and Cascade Springs, north-trending folds that warp the rock layers. Subsidence features abound, caused by the dissolution of gypsum and anhydrite in the Minnelusa Formation. This Permian rock, underlying much of the area, loses soluble minerals to groundwater, causing collapses that propagate upward, creating sinkholes and grabens. One famous sinkhole is the Mammoth Site, where a collapsed cavern in the Madison limestone trapped Ice Age animals 26,000 years ago. Mammoths, camels, and wolves plummeted into a steep-sided pond, their bones preserved in sediment. This site underscores the karst instability. The same processes that form caves like Wind Cave also create traps. Wind Cave, the breathing earth, connects deeply to our narrative. Its boxwork formations, thin calcite blades, are unique, formed when cracks in limestone filled with minerals before the cave eroded. Barometric winds cause the cave to breathe, equalizing pressure with the surface. Geologically, it's in the same Madison limestone as the hot springs, part of a vast karst system. Transitioning from stone to story, the Lakota people have their own explanations for these wonders. To them, the Black Hills are the heart of everything that is, the center of the universe. The hot springs, called Minnetonka, or warm waters, are sacred sites of healing and renewal. Let's weave in the Lakota emergence story, a foundational tale passed down through generations. This narrative begins in a time when plants and animals were still being created, but no people or bison roamed the earth. Humans lived underground in the Tunkan Teepee, the spirit lodge, awaiting the preparation of the surface world. The passageway to this lodge was through Onia Oshoka, the breathing inside place, Maka Onye, the breathing earth, known today as Wind Cave. Two spirits dwelled on the surface, Iktomi, the trickster spider, and Anog Ite, the double-faced woman. Iktomi, once named Waxapi, wisdom, lost his status after aiding the evil spirit Naskinyan in a deceitful prank. Anogite, formerly Ite, wife of the wind spirit Tate, was punished for her pride, her beauty marred by a twisted second face. Bored with tormenting Anogite, Iktomi schemed to lure humans to the surface. Anogite packed a wolf with gifts, quilled buckskin clothing, berries, and dried meat. The wolf entered Wind Cave, found the humans, and tempted them with tales of the surface's wonders. Tokahe, the first one, the leader, refused, heeding the creator's instructions to stay below. But those who tasted the meat followed the wolf upward. The journey was arduous, but the surface dazzled them. Blue skies, blooming plants. Anagit, disguised, welcomed them, showing only her beautiful face. She taught them to hunt bison, make teepees, and live off the land. But winter came harshly. The people suffered from cold and hunger. Iktomi revealed Anogite's true nature, horrifying them. In despair, they appealed to the Creator. Takuskanskan sent Pti, the bison spirit, as a white buffalo calf that transformed into a beautiful woman. She brought the sacred pipe, teaching ceremonies and unity. But one man's lust angered her. Lightning struck him. Private warned of hardships, but promised survival through the pipe's guidance. As she left, she turned back into a white buffalo, symbolizing abundance. This story explains the Lakota's origin, tied to Wind Cave near Hot Springs. The cave's breathing winds are the breath of the earth, a portal to the spirit world. The hot springs emerging nearby are extensions of this sacredness, warm waters from the underworld, healing gifts from the Creator. Local legends add layers. A battle raged on Battle Mountain between Cheyenne and Sioux for control of the springs. The Cheyenne held them first, but the Sioux claimed victory in a fierce clash overlooking the waters. Another tale speaks of an elderly Lakota woman with crippling leg pains who fell into a pool and emerged healed, her story spreading during a 16th century epidemic, drawing pilgrims. For centuries, tribes camped by the springs, using tipi rings still visible. Even after reservations confined them post-gold rush, Lakota returned to bathe and heal. The waters eased bodily pains, treated illnesses, and held spiritual power. European arrival disrupted this harmony. In 1875, Lieutenant Colonel Dodge noted the Minnetonka, or Warm Water Creek. Settlers renamed it Hot Springs in 1882, building bathhouses and spas. The town boomed as a health resort, attracting the wealthy for cures. But this commercialization clashed with native reverence. Today, science and folklore converge in conservation efforts. Wind Cave National Park protects the cave and prairie, home to bison reintroduced in 1913. Studies monitor water chemistry, ensuring springs remain unpolluted. Geologists map aquifers to sustain the flow, while cultural programs share Lakota stories. As we conclude, reflect on hot springs as a bridge between worlds, geological depths, and human spirits. The warm waters remind us of Earth's generosity and the stories that bind us. Whether through isotopic analysis or sacred pipes, this place teaches harmony with nature.